Hello, and welcome to Caffeine Entertainment. I am Mental 9R, and this is another episode of Backlogs and Replays. And today we're following up off after playing the Callisto Protocol a couple weeks ago. We decided to do Dead Space, and as always, I'm here with my good fun, my good fun friend and longtime buddy Finn Tintin. How you doing, Finn?
I'm doing good. I'm glad I'm in one of the fun friends. I'm not one of the no fun friends.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the fun friends.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny as well how you said like we decided to do Dead Space. It was really you decided that,
well,
but that's okay. That's okay.
I kind of put you on the spot. I'll admit to that, but I don't know that I decided it. I asked your permission if you were willing to do it, and you bought into it. So I'm still kind of stoked that you like Callisto Protocol. So let's deflate that balloon right now. We'll just crush me back down to earth, and we'll start talking about Dead Space. I'm gonna let you go first. I've played the game before. I've played it again, and this was your first time through it. So
Yeah, I mean, my initial reaction was that I may have played this a little bit too quickly after Callisto Protocol. And I have to give Dead Space credit for this, given that that came first, and I did not play the original, so it's hard for me to assess how much of it was the same as the original in terms of the gameplay mechanics, etc. But like both in terms of the setting and a lot of the not the combat. Obviously, the combat was more standard, let's say, in Dead Space versus in Callisto Protocol.
hmm
But a lot of the other mechanics, even the stomping of the foot, like down to the stomping of the foot to get your rewards from fallen enemies, was essentially the same as Callisto Protocol. So I was really like,
yeah,
at least for a while, it felt like just an extension of Callisto Protocol, which I
yeah,
had played from start to finish, and then I had started again, as I mentioned last week, to upgrade a couple of our weapons. So my initial take was that maybe a little bit too soon, but actually, you know what? Like as I played through it, it took me a couple of days, I think, to be in the mood because I don't know about you, but when I pick up a new game, and especially if it's something kind of similar to what I did before, and then the mechanics are a little bit different, it's a bit jarring to me. So I didn't have any of the dodge, swing, and there was none of that stuff. It was just more standard fare, shooting people in the head,
shoot,
or
run.
or shoot people in the arms. I guess more
Yeah,
specifically. Uh, so I kind of didn't like that actually. By the way, I didn't love the shooting people's arms off. I like headshots. I've grown
hmm
up with headshots, and I like headshots. But anyway,
yeah,
regardless, it was a really good game. It was. I don't know. I don't know how much improved it is from the original. My judgment is that probably a lot
yeah,
because the graphics were very crisp, very good. I didn't think it was graphically quite as good as the Callisto Protocol. I gotta say, Callisto Protocol is a newer game. I get that, and probably has been built more from the ground up. But still, 100% acceptable for Dead Space, given that it was a. I expected it to be looking a little bit more, aged, so to speak. But no,
right.
it looked really good. Um, some things, as I say, like the combat took a little bit to get used to, but once I did, it was fine. I wasn't a huge fan of as I say, the fact that headshots had been deprecated in preference of arm shots or limb
Right,
shots.
removing the limbs.
Yeah, the and one thing I found jarring throughout the whole game was your inability to not only to jump but even to take a big step. Like that was a bit like
Yeah,
sometimes, and this is I think a problem the way you described it as well. A problem with like Last of Us One remake when you had Last of Us Two and they had to introduce uh, uh,
mechanics.
new mechanics, new ways to do things. But
Yeah,
then they couldn't retrofit them onto the old game because it would have probably broken some of the maps and stuff. I guess
yeah,
I'm imagining the same thing was true here for Dead Space. That it felt like an older system where your character just couldn't jump. Like going back to the Doom days, like your guy
yeah,
doesn't jump in
yeah.
Doom.
And it's a 360 PS3 era game,
Yeah.
so.
But I mean, besides those couple of things, I really liked as well. How you could follow your objectives, how you could follow your secondary objectives. I
Hmm.
found,
I found myself pressing that right thumbstick a lot to
yeah,
figure out which
yeah.
way to go, and
So
I was thinking to myself, Finn's gonna like that.
yeah, I did like that. I did like that a lot, especially since when you had a secondary objective, you could also use it for that one, right?
Yeah.
And so that was really good. Like I pretty much finished everything to do in the game. As
So
far
you upgraded all your weapons and everything?
No, I didn't upgrade all of them.
Oh, okay.
No,
Dear Lord.
I meant that I finished all of the objectives and all the secondary objectives as well.
Hmm.
I think
How many secondaries was there?
there wasn't a whole lot, to be honest.
I only remember like two or three. Two?
There was I can remember two off the top of my head. Was where you're investigating what went on with your, I guess, your wife, I
Your
guess it was, and the other
girlfriend,
one,
wife, whatever, yeah.
and then the other one was where you were getting all these keys so you could access master lock boxes and stuff, which I
Right.
guess follows on to the next iteration as well.
All the rigs.
Yeah. But like I found that I was only able I just focused on three weapons.
Hmm.
And I honestly I looked up on Google like what are the best weapons in Dead Space, and I just focused on those ones. So it was like the old fashioned pistol equivalent, the shotgun, and what was the other one?
Like the plasma cutter, I think is what you mean, with the three beams that you could
Yeah,
tilt.
yeah.
Plasma cutter.
So there was that one. There was the equivalent of a shotgun, and then there was a rifle, like a kind of more of machine gun rifle type thing. Not
So
quite a
like,
machine gun, but like like a semi-automatic type thing. Right?
yeah.
So
Okay.
I just focused on those three, and I upgraded all those completely. But
Okay.
I actually I ended up playing some of the game in story mode as well, and it did feel maybe a little bit long towards the end. I really don't fault Dead Space for that, because I'll say this as well. I think it was almost better than Callisto Protocol in almost every way, in my mind.
Hmm.
Not graphically. Some of the mechanics I liked as well on Callisto Protocol. I got used to them. I found that the picking enemies up and throwing them around worked a lot better in Callisto Protocol than it did here. But
Hmm.
in terms of the story and like I think it just I liked this game more, I think, and I probably, as I went through it, I probably appreciated it more as well, because I figured like, geez, Callisto Protocol lifted a lot from this game.
Yeah. So I'll say, I'll start from kind of the beginning where you commented it was a little bit like, whoa, when you started this game and you're used to that dodge, swing,
Yeah,
and stuff, it was like, oh wow, I don't know if I like this all gunplay all the time. That was a bit jarring, and having to get used to the idea of shooting off the limbs and doing that, and it was a little bit of a pain in the arse to start with. I did find that as I progressed through the game and I started to get more used to that and working with that as your main way of playing, absolutely started to enjoy it a lot more. Like it probably took me the first chapter, maybe two chapters, to start to really get into it.
yeah,
And then, yeah, I started playing like more hardcore, I guess, where I wanted to, upgrade the stuff and get things. And, I did the two side quests. I can't remember if there was a third. I don't think there was. Did all that. I also, apparently I had the deluxe edition, so I had some different armor and things that I could put on, so I was switching that stuff up a little bit. Settled on one main one that I liked. It was a little bit more modern looking, I guess, than a lot of the other stuff. That was kind of more janky,
yeah.
a little rougher around the edges. So there was that. As for weapons, I used quite a few different weapons. Pretty much all of them, to be honest. I really kind of liked that line gun. I think it was. Is that what it was called? It's like it shoots a beam of energy.
Right.
I kind of started to like that one. I liked the saw one, like the saw blade one that
Yeah,
put the blades in front. You could just kind of work it back and forth and hack the guys up that way. I quite enjoyed that. The flamethrower was great for all the little things that would come running at you. You know, you kill some of the enemies and then they'd have all the little spider-like things that come at you. Flamethrower dispatched those pretty quick. So I tended to run with that machine gun-like thing.
yeah,
Then I'd switch between the force, I think it was called the force gun, the shotgun like thing.
yeah, yeah.
That and the plasma cutter would kind of be in the top slot. On the right, I typically had the flamethrower because there always seemed to be ammo for that. Like it was just plentiful. And then in the bottom, I'd either have that saw thing or that energy beam thing typically. So,
Yeah, the
or did
reason, yeah, one of the reasons I ended up focusing on three weapons because I did find like inventory management became a bit of a hassle as well. Like with all of the different ammo types I had, like it became like it kept on getting filled up again.
did
So
you upgrade your suit?
I did. I upgraded it to I guess the highest available in the first run through, and then when you go to the
So
second
like
run,
level 5?
yeah, and then you go to the second run through, you get a fancy new armor, which
Oh,
is like the oh maybe
you
it's a spell.
played New Game Plus, did you?
I did, and I because I
And
thought
you were giving me a hard time for making you play the game.
yeah well you have to get your moan in right, but it if and I actually I was kind of cool that I didn't know it was going to be this. But you get the same armor as the Marines on the other ship that crashes into you,
Yeah,
the kind of white sleek thing. So
pretty
it's like
cool. Yeah,
it's a much cooler looking armor, I think. But
yeah.
actually, one of the reasons I thought like that I liked it, okay, liked it more than Callisto Protocol maybe is not 100% true. Callisto
Hmm.
Protocol felt a bit more fresh and all that because I hadn't played one of those games for type of games for a long time. One thing I really like though is that I'm not sure I've ever seen a game that's done zero gravity better than Dead
Yeah,
Space. Like you really felt kind of free to explore things, and it was so easy
yeah.
to get disoriented as well. Which I'm sure in
Spun around.
real zero gravity is true. Like you forget where the ground is. You forget which
Yeah,
side is the ground, especially when you're going through like organic material like holes and organic. It's very easy to forget, and I actually felt like that aspect of it maybe gave it the edge a little bit on.
yeah. The zero G stuff was pretty cool. That
Yeah,
was
maybe give
something
it
I
on.
was going to mention.
Yeah, maybe give it the edge on Callisto Protocol because Callisto Protocol was more the same all the way through. I don't want to be unfair. Like as I said last time, I enjoyed the game, but just gave it an extra kind of dimension to Dead Space. I thought.
Yeah,
Um, one thing as
yeah.
well, like I did find like some of the voice acting not as good. Like it felt a bit clunkier.
Hmm.
But yeah, very good game. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Cool.
I was looking forward to playing it every evening, and yeah,
Oh,
and
right on.
the other thing. Oh yeah, the other thing as well. I actually found it quite a bit creepier. I thought the Callisto Protocol. I don't think I ever remember getting a jump scare in a Callisto Protocol, and I got a
Hmm.
few with this one. Like
Okay, good.
when you walked in and then you just turn around and there's something right there. You're like, whoa, like, So
Yeah, yeah.
I had that a few times.
So, and you played on PS5. I played on PS5. How did you find the haptics and stuff
I
in it?
liked that. I found it very nice, actually, very smooth. As you said
Yeah,
yourself, a little less jarring than the
yeah,
Xbox where it's just going in your hand, and it's just like
yeah.
smoother.
Yeah, it definitely is a much less intrusive way to do it. And it's not that I find, like, I mean, people will say, oh, yeah, you can tell the difference between the different surfaces you're walking on. I don't pay attention to it that much. I just, that's meaningless to me. I know that I noticed like some of the trigger clicks were different depending on what you were doing and stuff. That type of stuff I noticed. Couldn't tell you what was what at this point. Like, obviously, didn't make that big an impact to me, but I just found that when you would run, for instance, in Callisto Protocol, it was a very sort of clunky feeling. When you would, like with an Xbox controller, the vibration's quite harsh. Same thing with even Jedi Survivor. the differences in those games was very apparent. And same thing in this game. It's just a sort of a less intrusive way of giving you sensations and feedback in the game. And no, props to Sony for that. It is really nice. And it's funny because Xbox is apparently working on a haptics controller that I thought was going to be out this fall. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows where it is, but
I mean,
maybe there's. I think they said there's more hardware announcements next month. That could be the new controller.
I don't get me wrong. Like, I don't find the Xbox controller horrible by any manner of means. It's a nice controller. I like the feel of it, but I do think they
super comfortable.
Yeah, the haptics are just a little bit. Yeah, as you say, a little bit more
elegant.
Elegant, yeah. Like, you know, they're more suitable for. They feel more what's the word, nuanced, I guess is what I'm looking for. One other thing is what I actually liked in the, even though I like
it's like a lightsaber. It's a more elegant weapon for a more civilized time.
The one thing I liked as well, and I liked the story for Callisto Protocol a lot as well, but I kind of liked the whole backstory, like as you found out more about the kind of religious, I mean, there seem to be a lot of jobs of Scientology all the way through, if you ask me. Maybe I'm wrong, but like it seemed to be very Scientology-esque, like some, I'm not sure what his name was, like maybe L. Bon Bubbard or something like that was, that was the guy who came up with the... But yeah, I found that quite kind of intriguing, like you see the bodies hanging up and all that stuff, kind of creepy. So yeah, I really liked it. And as I say, if I had played this before Callisto Protocol, I think I would have been not even less impressed with Callisto Protocol, but I would have been a bit like, whoa, you guys have lifted a lot of stuff from Dead Space. I didn't realize to that extent.
Right. Yeah, no, and I would probably have to agree there too. Like, this game, it just felt a little bit cleaner, I think, overall. A little bit more variety in it. And, you know, I'd probably give it the nod too. As much as I like Callisto Protocol, and, you know, I've played it 3 times. Graphically, I think it's probably the better game. Although, you know, Dead Space is not exactly ugly. It's a good-looking game too.
Yeah.
But I would give the edge to Callisto Protocol, I think, on that front. But overall... yeah, I would agree. This game was... I don't even want to say it was borderline too long. I think it was a reasonable length for what it was. You know, 12 different chapters. You know, the ending was pretty decent. The gameplay throughout was consistent and good. Storytelling, I think, you know, I would tend to agree. The voice acting, I think, was better in the Callisto Protocol. But the story in this was pretty entertaining as well, right down to the whole mystery around his wife or girlfriend or whatever and what happened to her, and you kind of find out what was going on.
Yeah.
And, how the what was it, the artifact or the whatever?
Yeah.
They were calling
marker.
The marker. Yes, the marker. And how, you know, that all interacted with everything. It was pretty cool, I think.
I think that's fair. I think it was a better story. But the story in Callisto Protocol was maybe better told, if that makes sense.
That makes sense to me, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, one thing you reminded me of as well, and spoiler alert, the end boss battle, I actually found that quite cool as well. You know, the way you were swinging through the air and your hand was going everywhere and you were trying to hit. It was kind of difficult, but it was still kind of cool, like, you know. Mm-hmm. And I kind of liked as well. I'm trying to remember what they all were, but there was a decent array of puzzles is probably too strong a word for it, like, but you know, having to work out the door mechanics and shit like
turning different fuses on and off and figuring out
and lifting them up and bringing the fuse from one spot to the other. That was all kind of cool.
Changing
like,
batteries, knowing full well that the second you plug that thing in, all hell's gonna break loose.
I just found that overall there was probably more variety than Callisto Protocol, where that was a bit more straightforward. You know, one mission was quite like slash.
Yeah, and I mean, even using stasis to your advantage in this game and slowing the enemies down and leveraging that to get around behind them and so on and so on. I think it was well thought out, and I do actually have the original trilogy on Xbox 360 and never played it because back then I was a shooter guy and this third person stuff just didn't click with me. But I'm probably going to go back and give it a try just to see what those differences were.
I thought you said you had played it before, though. Or had you played the remake before?
I played the remake before.
Okay,
I hadn't played the original, and maybe I'll even see if I can capture a little bit of Xbox 360 footage and throw it in if I can find spots that make sense.
Because actually, that was one thing I was interested in talking to you about was how much different it was than the original one. Because again, my sense is that because it looked so good, I was like, they must have rewritten like massive chunks of it. This wasn't just a paint job. This was a rewrite. But
yeah, like, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like I say, I will give it a try. It was fun to do a bit of that with BioShock and get some of the footage from the 360 way back when and see how it compared to the newer stuff as well. So I'll see if I can capture some of that off my 360 and work it into this video. So what do you give it for a rating?
I'm trying to remember what I gave Callisto Protocol. I think it was 75, maybe 80, and I think this is probably like 80, maybe 85, and I primarily down to the increased variety. There's a few areas as well where you took control of cannons. Like wasn't amazing, but again, it just gave you a sense of like each chapter felt quite different, and you were doing different things in different parts of the game. So yeah, I think I would give this probably a solid 85 would be fair, I think.
Okay. And I'm going to go with, I gave Callisto Protocol an 80, 85. I'm going to give this the high end of that, the 85. And, if you catch me at the right moment, I might go like 88 or something like that. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I like this genre. It's one of my favorites, survival horror where you're going through doing this. I love these types of games. So always a good time. And really glad that you enjoyed it. Man, that's 2 in a row. I don't even know what to say. That's really cool, though. I'm glad you liked it. Now, this kind of gets us to a point where I realized we didn't talk about what we're going to play.
I found a game that was extremely well reviewed, and I turned it on last night, and I just imagined, I was like, I can't think of a game that I think Michael hates more than this game. So to get revenge for, although like it's not really warranted because I did enjoy the two.
Am I going to have it though?
It's on Game Pass. So,
damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a game called Inscription.
Okay. I'm already worried. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, but I think it got like 91 or 96 or something on Steam, and But
okay.
I almost like. Honestly, when I started playing it, I was like, "Ooh, I'd love to get Mike's reaction to this."
Okay, I'm writing it down. Oh man,
it's going to be super short. You'll probably have to suffer for. Oh, maybe you won't suffer. Maybe you'll love it. But you'll probably suffer for a few hours, and that'll be about it. I don't know how long it is, but I don't imagine it's too long.
Okay. Well, I have an idea for the next one, so you're going to be in trouble. We'll see how this goes, but okay, we'll do it. Inscription, it is. Sounds like a blast. Maybe we'll see. But any other thoughts? Closing comments?
No, very good games. I didn't expect to like either of them. Only for this podcast, I wouldn't have played either of them most likely. So you know what? If nothing else, if all you people who aren't subscribing, even if you never subscribe, at least I got to play 2 good games I wouldn't have played otherwise.
There we go. Like and subscribe, folks. If you stayed with us this long, please do. Okay, well, let's wrap it up. Tell them where they can reach you, Finn.
Okay, you can get me at FinTinTin with a 1 instead of the first I, as it shows on the legend below. And you can get me on FinTinTin, Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Right on. And I'm at Mental9R on X, and you can find me at Mental9R on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, and just about anywhere else you can play games. This is at Caffeine Entertainment. I'll say it one more time. If you stayed with us this long, don't be afraid to hit that like, subscribe, and comment in the comments below and let us know if you like this game too. And hey, maybe share it with a few friends if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Mental Ninar. He is Fin Tin Tin. This is Caffeine Entertainment. Don't forget, it's time to wake up and play some games.